Another Ferrari disaster class after double Q1 exit at home. Lando Norris bottles another pole position, and Tsunoda's huge crash reveals a secret about the Red Bull car. Do consider subbing. Let's get into the latest F1 news. Oscar Piastri has claimed pole position for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, showcasing an impressive performance at Imola. The Australian driver outpaced reigning champion Max Verstappen, but the headlines were stolen by dramatic incidents at the back of the grid that left Italian fans feeling crushed. The qualifying session kicked off with anticipation as Nico Hülkenberg and Gabriel Bortoleto aimed to make a strong impression on a track notorious for its traffic. Early on, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, and Alex Albon all took turns at the top, but the action came to a halt when Yuki Tsunoda's Red Bull suffered a massive crash. Tsunoda's vehicle hit the apex curb and spun into the tire barriers, ultimately landing upside down before righting itself. Fortunately, Tsunoda climbed out unaided and was soon examined at the medical center, but the incident heralded the beginning of a shocking qualifying session. As the red flags waved, Verstappen seized the opportunity to set a blistering lap time. He clocked a 1:15.1, leaving him comfortably ahead of Piastri by 0.3 of a second, with Fernando Alonso close behind. Yet trouble lingered for some drivers. Kimi Antonelli was fuming after feeling impeded by Hülkenberg during a pit exit. Despite a P8 finish, Antonelli struggled with pressure and ultimately failed to advance, alongside other famed Italian hopes. In a heartbreaking twist, Franco Colapinto brought out another red flag shortly after with a heavy crash at Tamburello. His spin off the track resulted in a devastating nose-first impact against the barriers. Thankfully, Colapinto reported he was okay post-incident, but it effectively ended the chances for many to improve their times. Next up were the drivers who couldn't secure their progression to Q2. Liam Lawson, Nico Hülkenberg, Esteban Ocon, Oliver Biermann, and Yuki Tsunoda all faced early exits from the session. For Biermann, there was confusion surrounding his elimination, as Haas had hoped he could have made it through just before the red flags came out. However, the Italian crowd was left devastated as Piastri and Verstappen's efforts overshadowed their own drivers' challenges. As the dust settled on Q2, it was clear that the local hopes were dashed in a dramatic display of speed and skill. As Q2 kicked off, Bortoleto emerged as the first driver on the track after a lengthy delay, finishing in 15th place. It didn't take long for the action to unfold, with Verstappen setting the early pace. However, the real excitement began when the McLaren drivers entered the fray. Oscar Piastri clocked an impressive 1:15.241, narrowly edging out his teammate Lando Norris. Frustration was palpable for Pierre Gasly, who found himself struggling in 12th place. He remarked sarcastically to the Aston Martin team, "Nice job from the Aston Martin. What's the name of the smart guy in the Aston? I'll remember him." As qualifying progressed, Carlos Sainz took charge with the fastest lap of 1:15.198. However, as the session neared its end, both Ferrari and Antonelli fell into the drop zone, leading to their elimination alongside notable names like Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. With tension mounting, we headed into the critical pole position shootout. McLaren and Verstappen were neck and neck, exchanging sector times like heavyweight boxers trading blows. Verstappen began with a stellar 1:14.722, but Piastri quickly surpassed him. Although Norris struggled on his lap and remained third, George Russell managed to elevate his position to third place on medium tires as Verstappen fell just short in the final moments. The times were electrifying. Oscar Piastri claimed pole position with a lightning-fast time of 1:14.670, just 0.034 seconds ahead of Verstappen. Russell, Norris, and Alonso followed closely behind, showcasing a fierce battle among the top drivers. In summary, as we reviewed the Emilia-Romagna qualifying times, it was clear that the competition was fiercer than ever. Piastri took the top spot, with Verstappen close on his heels and Russell bringing up a formidable third. The excitement is building as teams prepare for the race ahead, and fans can only wonder what these incredible performances mean for the championship race. Stay tuned for all the latest updates and insights as we follow the thrilling world of Formula One. Max Verstappen's future in Formula One is a hot topic right now. The Dutch driver has recently hinted that the upcoming series of races are very important for his future, stirring up speculation about a potential exit from Red Bull racing. With the current season underway, Verstappen finds himself in a challenging position, trailing fellow competitor Oscar Piastri by 32 points in the race for the championship title. This situation adds more pressure as Verstappen acknowledges the significance of the next few races in making decisions that could affect his career trajectory. Despite his success as a four-time world champion, Verstappen has remained somewhat tight-lipped about his next steps. However, discussions surrounding his future often link him to other teams, including Mercedes and Aston Martin, or even to the possibility of stepping away from the sport altogether. His current contract with Red Bull extends until 2028, but there are whispers of performance-related clauses that may allow for a change earlier than expected. Verstappen admitted to a Dutch outlet that he has been thinking about his future for some time, even during the peak seasons when things were going well. Despite the pressure, he claims to be calm, focusing on the team's performance over the duration of the season. He expressed, "I want to see how the rest of the season, or at least part of it, goes." This indicates that he believes major developments could come from the team, making these upcoming races crucial not just for him, but for Red Bull as a whole. Verstappen added, "The upcoming races are very important, also for my future." His acknowledgement that everyone within the team understands the stakes demonstrates the collective awareness of what lies ahead. Still, he admits that if he had the freedom to choose purely based on performance, he might consider switching teams more often. He said, "You know what the problem is? If you really had a choice and looked purely at performance, you could change teams almost every season. But of course, that's not possible." Verstappen stressed that staying with Red Bull is still his primary intention, unless things take a considerable turn for the worse. "I've always said that to the team. That's the intention, to stay," he clarified. Yet, should he decide to leave, he faces complexities due to the evolving landscape of racing regulations set for 2026, which could dramatically influence team performances moving forward. As we look ahead to these pivotal races, the focus shifts to not just Verstappen's on-track performance, but also how it will shape his future in the sport. Whether he will remain with Red Bull or explore other avenues remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: the coming weeks will play a critical role in deciding his path ahead in Formula One. Stay tuned as the drama unfolds both on and off the track for Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen has been in the spotlight recently, especially after a thrilling qualifying round at Imola, where he encountered some challenges. He expressed his frustration over running out of tires during his final lap, feeling that it cost him the chance for pole position. It's clear that Verstappen is eager to perform at his best, but such setbacks highlight the unpredictable nature of racing. In a related note, Helmut Marko, Red Bull's advisor, has also been vocal about the team's updates after the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. He acknowledged the continuous evolution of their performance amidst fierce competition, particularly noting the impressive advantage that McLaren currently holds this season. Marko stated that while predictions about next year's performance are uncertain, McLaren is clearly leading the pack right now. Adding to this conversation, Verstappen recently took to social media to address what he deemed false claims regarding his performance at the Nordschleife. After driving a Ferrari 296 GT3, he surprised many by going below record lap times. This accomplishment has drawn a mix of admiration and scrutiny from fans and critics alike. Marko further dismissed any speculations about team member changes, remarking that someone wants to make themselves important again, referring to the rumors surrounding Christian Horner's potential departure. This response not only underscores the camaraderie within the Red Bull team, but also reassures fans that the leadership is stable and focused on the racing ahead. As we look forward to the future of Formula One, it's evident that changes are on the horizon. With new car models and regulations coming into play next season, teams will have to adapt quickly. Verstappen, with his undeniable talent, will undoubtedly be a key player to watch as these updates unfold. In the whirlwind world of motorsport, the next races promise to be full of excitement, drama, and twists. One thing's for certain, for Verstappen and Red Bull, every lap counts in their quest for victory. Stay tuned as the battles on the track heat up and the stories off it continue to develop. Franco Colapinto is back in the spotlight as he steps into the F1 race seat with Alpine once again. Unfortunately, his return to the track at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix has been marred by a one-place grid penalty due to a breach during qualifying, as confirmed by the FIA. This weekend marks Colapinto's first appearance in the F1 2025 season. He recently replaced Jack Doohan at Alpine following the Miami Grand Prix earlier this month. But things took a turn during qualifying when disaster struck. The Argentine driver faced a significant setback in Q1, experiencing a severe accident that saw him collide with the barrier after losing control at the notorious Tamburello chicane. The misfortune came just after he entered the pit lane, following the red flag for Yuki Tsunoda's crash earlier in the session. This led to the FIA issuing a one-place grid penalty for Colapinto, putting a damper on his highly anticipated return. The FIA's ruling sheds light on the circumstances surrounding the incident. During the inquiry, the stewards reviewed various evidence, including team radio and in-car footage. They heard from Franco himself and a team representative who explained that there had been a miscommunication regarding instructions leading up to the accident. The team representative indicated they had instructed Colapinto to allow his car to creep towards the track but not fully release it. Misunderstanding this directive, Colapinto entered the fast lane prematurely, well before the restart time was officially communicated. Unfortunately, there was no turning back once this action was taken, and the team directed him to proceed down the pit lane. While the team contended that no sporting advantage was gained from the breach, pointing out that ample time remained for other drivers to complete their runs, the stewards still had to impose a penalty. They acknowledged that the infringement was indeed unintentional and didn't compromise the integrity of the session. Nonetheless, a sporting penalty was deemed necessary, resulting in the one-position grid penalty for Colapinto. As the F1 community watches closely, this situation raises questions about the complexities of communication within teams and the pivotal role of clarity in high-stakes situations. With Colapinto eager to prove himself, he will now have to navigate the challenges posed by the penalty as he aims for a successful race at Imola. Franco Colapinto's recent penalty mirrors the consequences faced by Mercedes drivers during the Bahrain Grand Prix, highlighting the necessity for teams to maintain discipline on the track. The penalties may seem uniform now, but a future breach could lead to even harsher repercussions in the sporting world. Recently, Colapinto has been in the spotlight following the announcement of his promotion at Alpine, which coincides with the news that Jack Doohan, formerly occupying that seat, would remain integral to the team as a reserve driver. Despite a short stint in the race seat, Doohan's expertise will continue to bolster the Alpine efforts. He was spotted at Imola, ready to support the team after spending time in the simulator, confirming he is committed to enhancing team performance from trackside. In a surprising turn, Colapinto faced a rocky return as he crashed during qualifying at Imola. This incident serves as a crucial reminder of the unpredictability in racing and the intense pressure drivers face. It's moments like these that can define a driver's career path and potentially alter a team's trajectory. Additionally, the fallout from Doohan's dismissal has ignited discussions among fans and insiders alike, with many expressing that the decision was undeserved given his recent performances. Some even critique Alpine's handling of talent acquisition and retention, suggesting that even the brightest prospects can be discarded too quickly. Colapinto, now thrust into the limelight, faces his unique challenges. With his new role at Alpine, he must navigate the turbulent waters of competition, rise to expectations, and prove he can capitalize on this opportunity. The upcoming events will test his skills and resilience, making it crucial for him to deliver positive results. Furthermore, as we look ahead to the race schedule, it's clear that the dynamics of the grid are constantly changing. Tonight, the intensity of competition only ramps up as we analyze qualifying statistics and driver performances going into 2025. Every point and position is critical, and drivers like Colapinto must seize their moments as they unfold. Stay tuned for more updates on Colapinto and the latest from the Formula One world. This season is guaranteed to keep you on the edge of your seat. Yuki Tsunoda recently made headlines for his stunning crash during the Q1 session at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. The young Red Bull Racing driver openly expressed his feelings of shame, admitting that the unfortunate incident was entirely his fault. In a candid conversation with the media, including PlanetF1.com, Tsunoda said he felt embarrassed about the crash, attributing it to his hero mindset. Approaching his first flying lap, he pushed harder than necessary, which ultimately led to disaster. As the qualifying session unfolded, things took a turn for the worse when Tsunoda brought out an early red flag. While flying around the Autodromo Enzo Edino Ferrari, he lost control of his car at the notorious Turn 6. Climbing the apex curve, the RB21 bottomed out, causing it to spin at an alarming speed. The situation escalated quickly. Tsunoda skimmed through the gravel and crashed into the tire barriers. The impact was severe, flipping his car over and sending it colliding with the fence. After the wild ride, his car came to rest back on all four tires in the gravel. The silver lining? Tsunoda walked away without injury. However, his crew was faced with a daunting task ahead, requiring a late-night effort to repair the RB21 in time for the actual race. Following his release from the medical center, Tsunoda shared his emotions with reporters. He couldn't shake off the feeling of disappointment, saying, "I was just very ashamed." He reflected on his decisions, calling them really stupid, and emphasized that it was a wake-up call about unnecessary risks on the track. Overall, Tsunoda's experience serves as a poignant reminder of the dangers of high-pressure racing and the importance of maintaining composure behind the wheel. As fans await the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, the stakes are certainly high for Tsunoda and his Red Bull team, who are now focused on repairing their race car and looking towards the future, hoping to learn from this experience. In a candid moment, Yuki Tsunoda reflected on the pressures he faced during the qualifying session. He admitted it was unnecessary to push so hard without fully understanding the car's capabilities. Right after leaving the medical center, he spoke to the media, but hadn't yet debriefed with his Red Bull team. "I can only apologize to them and just pray," he shared, acknowledging the extensive damage to the car that his mechanics now have to fix. Tsunoda understands the weight of his actions. "Very unnecessary for them and for myself putting them in the wrong situation," he stated. He discussed feeling supported by his team, who are doing their best to alleviate pressure during this challenging time. Tsunoda lamented, "I just tried to be a hero in Q1, which is unnecessary. I aimed too high, thinking I could pass Q1 in just one set of tires, a strategy that ultimately backfired." Without clocking a time, Tsunoda is set to start the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix from 20th position. However, there's a glimmer of hope, with ongoing repairs possibly allowing him a pit lane start. The road ahead will be tough, but Tsunoda remains focused, prepared to learn from this experience as he navigates his way through the championship. Stay tuned as we follow Tsunoda's journey and the updates from the Red Bull team.